I'm a firm believer that every decision that you make in life comes from a mixture of two different places, your heart and your brain, and I fear that the decision that I just made came a little bit too much from the heart and not enough from the brain. I just bought a race car and it's going to be my new daily driver. No, like a legit race car. If you've been watching the channel for any amount of time, you know that historically it's been all about motorcycles, but I'm sure you've also heard me say a handful of times that it was actually cars that I fell in love with way before I found my love for bikes. Back in the day, I had my beloved 2002 Honda Civic Si that I owned for 11 years. It had full bolt-ons, a tuned ECU, coilovers to lower it, wheels, tires, short shifter, shift bushings, aesthetics, the whole 9 yards. But unfortunately, I'm an idiot and I sold my fun car to get my adult car because I went into real estate and thought that I needed to look cool with an Acura, and I haven't had a fun car since then. But that all changed yesterday when, for the first time in 7 years, I not only have another fun car, but it's actually a race car. Introducing my HPDE road racing spec 1999 Mazda Miata. And quick scenery change. I will be shocked if that intro turned out even halfway decent. All I wanted was some B-roll with some horses that would look cool, and it turns out that that road was the most traveled road in America, so yeah. Oh, wait. I found another spot with horses, mini horses, and I didn't realize they're literally walking up to me. What the hell? What's up, buddies? What you got going on? Mini horse, mini car, am I right? Anyway, this is my 1999 Mazda Miata, and it is spec'd out fully to be compliant with HPDE road racing. Maybe not what some of y'all were expecting when I said race car, but I mean, legitimately, this thing was built to be a race car, so real quick, let's just go through and I'll tell you everything that's already done to it. Are you for real? Scratching your butt by the Miata, my guy? Come on now. Okay, so anyway, this thing is a 1999 Mazda Miata, like I've said 3 other times. Only has about 173,000 miles on it, and as you can tell, especially from the interior, this thing is track ready. We got the Track Dog Racing bucket seats for driver and passenger, and of course, along with those, you have the 5-point harnesses instead of a regular seatbelt. And for the 5-point harness, of course, you have the harness bar here underneath of the roll bar. Now, all of those obviously tie in together, but what you might not know is that it's the reason why the seats are so freaking low. I'm sure you can tell these seats are nothing but just like sheet metal with a little bit of padding on them, but the seats are insanely low compared to the stock seats because in the racing that this is set up for, your helmet when you're sitting in the seat cannot come past a line that goes across the roll bar to the windshield. So this thing is already a super small car. I'm about 5'10", 5'11", and you can see the windshield only comes to like belly button height, but watch how low it gets when I sit down in it. Oh my god, dude, going all the way down. I'm, like I said, not the shortest, but I close the door and you can like barely see my head over it because the bucket seats sit so low. So yeah, needless to say, getting in and out of this thing has been quite the treat so far. Definitely something you got to get used to, and it definitely requires some finesse as to like, dude, the horse just ran off, what the hell? As to like bracing yourself on the seat, or like, do I grab the steering wheel to pull myself out or what? I'm still not entirely sure the best way to do it. The guy that I bought it from said that he just braces his hands on the seat and pushes himself out, but I think I've found that you got to kind of grab the wheel, grab the seat, and then just let's go, baby. So yeah, that just about does it for the interior, and it might not seem like much, but it's pretty crazy. I was looking into everything, and these are like $600 per seat from what I saw, and then like a $700 roll bar, $200 harness bar, and like $300 steering wheel setup or something like that. So this stuff adds up quick, and I'm glad that if I intend to do any racing with it, I didn't have to build it myself, which we'll talk about whether I'll be racing it or not in a bit. Oh, and of course, it goes without saying that it is a stick shift. Obviously, you can't get something like this in automatic. Like, Like, come on. And it's hard to tell, but the shift boot is actually cats. It's worn a little bit, but it's cats, which is fitting for me. And of course, you got the custom cutouts in the door so that it can go around the side of the seat. Look at that. Makes my OCD so happy, dude. They line up so perfect on both sides. If I'm remembering correctly, I'm pretty sure I covered all the bases of everything that was done to the interior and like the safety aspect of everything. So now let's talk about the performance. I think they only come stock with like 110 horsepower or something like that. And you'll probably be surprised when I tell you how much power it has now. Exactly that amount. There's nothing done to this to add power. Now you might be saying, wait a second, Birch, I thought you said this thing was a race car. How is there no power added to it? How is it a race car with 110 horsepower? And honestly, I'm not even sure if it's 110. That might be overshooting. It might only be 100. And the answer is simple, is that this thing was set up for road courses and not any kind of like straight line power or anything like that. The guy that I bought it from actually has like a 450 wheel horsepower Subaru BRZ. So he had that as his high power car, and then he got this to kind of learn the fundamentals and the basics on the track. And with something like the Miata, where it just handles like a freaking go-kart but doesn't have a whole lot of power, it forces you to learn all of the basics. You know, if you mess something up, you can't like rely on your power to get you out of the situation. So this thing is totally stock as far as power is concerned. It just has a muffler delete, which I'm sure adds nothing but makes it sound cool, but all of the magic is in the suspension and the wheels and tires. So this thing has fully adjustable suspension, upgraded brakes, and of course, as you can see, upgraded wheels and tires. So we'll start with what you can see first, and that would of course be the wheels and tires. So this has TR Motorsport C1M wheels. These are 15-inch wheels, nice and small, super light. I remember these wheels from back in my Civic days, and this is what all like the autocross people would rock because they're not super expensive, but still super light compared to any stock wheels. And then they're wrapped in Continental tires. What kind are they again? Extreme Contact Sports. So these are super sticky, and he used these for the road course. I don't know if I'll keep these on for daily use because they're super low tread wear, which means that they'll wear out fast because they're just made to be sticky. So I might get something else to rock for daily use and then put these back on for track days. Who knows? And then behind the whole setup, you can see upgraded Stop Tech brakes, and these things stop on a freaking dime. These are incredible. So tons of stopping power. Oh, and like the only flaw is this rust, but it's already been treated. And I'll say that small amount of rust for a 24-year-old car with paint that good is insane. But yeah, so those brakes are insane. And then behind those, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it has full Bilstein suspension. So it has Bilstein shocks and coilovers, so you can adjust the ride height and adjust all sorts of things with it. I'm obviously not familiar with this thing enough yet to be doing any kind of adjustments to it or even know if it needs any adjustments to the suspension. So we'll kind of figure that out down the road. But I gotta say, this thing rides like a freaking go-kart right now. It's a blast. It's really nice because the car is just low enough and the suspension is just firm enough that you can really tell like this is upgraded. This thing means business, but it's not so firm that it's like jarring you and bottoming out all the time, which is kind of what I'm used to because my Civic, it handled well, but it was more just for looks. Like I just slammed it. It wasn't really set up for performance. So it's really nice. Like it handles incredibly, but I was kind of expecting it to be harsher than it is. So I'm super pleased with it so far. This thing rips. Speaking of how much this thing rips, I think it's finally time for me to show you guys just how good this thing sounds and looks in action. As much fun as that was, I'm not sure if that captured the exhaust at all. The exhaust sounds really good, but it's honestly pretty quiet, so I'd be shocked if it picked up the exhaust over all the road noise, but it was a blast. And while we're here, I figured I'd show you another reason why this won't be great for daily driving. And that's the 5-point harness, which obviously I'm sure you guys realize would be a pain in the ass, but like I'm so lanky and this car so small, I have to have the door open to put the harness on. So you bring this up, then you gotta clip that in and clip that in, clip that in, clip that in, and now we can close the door. Otherwise, I don't have enough room to clip everything in. I hear a motorcycle. What's that? Some kind of Harley? Hell yeah, brother. So yeah, this thing is a blast, but how much sense it actually makes for daily driving, I have no idea. It's not just, oh, I'm daily driving a Miata or a Miata that's set up for racing. It's like, no, like it doesn't have an airbag. It has 5-point harnesses. It has unadjustable seats. And yeah. Oh, also, I don't know if the top doesn't leak. The top is like pretty new. It's in really good shape, but the guy garage kept it. So I have no idea if it leaks or not. whatnot. He really only had it for, I think he said, ice cream getting and track days. So in the 4 or 5 years that he owned it, he only put 2,000 miles on it, and it was garage kept the entire time. So he's like, I mean, I'm pretty sure the roof won't leak, but I have no idea because it's been garage kept, and I will obviously have to keep it outside. So this car is a blast. It's the most fun that I've had in a car in a long time, but I don't know how practical it'll actually be for daily driving. I keep going back and forth between like, man, this is so much fun, I'm never selling this car, and being like, man, I don't know how long I'll last in this because I don't have enough money for 2 cars, so this is my daily driver. But I would like to do some track driving at some point. I'm not sure what kind, whether it'll be road racing the way that he had it set up, or if I'll be doing autocross racing or what. But I feel like I'm missing that, like, I don't know if competitive is the right word, but like, I grew up riding BMX, so I miss like pushing myself and pushing my limits and seeing how far I can take things. So I feel like that's what I'm missing, and I don't know, I feel like this is just so much of a safer bet versus doing track days on a motorcycle, which I've considered. But yeah, as of how many track days or events I actually end up doing, I don't know. But if I do any, or those that I do, I'm thinking about making videos and posting them somewhere, whether it's this channel or a second channel. I don't think I have the brain power for a second channel, but leave a comment also and let me know if you guys would want to see more race car content on this channel. It is called Life of Birch after all, not Bikes of Birch, but I'm sure the algorithm would not like me mixing content in. So let me know if you guys would be interested in it or not. And yeah, I don't know. Did I make a bad decision getting a race car as a daily driver? Time will tell. But I think that's gonna do it for this one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Shout out to the Patreon members for making all of this possible, and they actually knew about this car several days ago, and they know why I got it, and without them it wouldn't be possible, and Nina would still be driving a car without AC, which is a whole other story. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Catch y'all on the next one. Love you guys. Peace.
Oh, so basic, hope you play this. Damn, I prayed it, nice on air. I became this, old souls fake it. Pay those placements, fuck shit. And I'm still waiting on the brighter days. Been a minute, been rough many times more. And I'm kicking rocks to a sky of gray. Praying hard, talk to me for I'm done for.